Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Fantasy. My skills can be upgraded infinitely. Chapter 11. Qi Peng, the first person in the outer sect. Pu Xingyu immediately suppressed his words as soon as they came to his lips. Qi and blood surged, and the majestic power of qi and blood made the air around him begin to stir. Boy, you are looking for death. He drew his sword from its sheath. With a kick of his feet, his figure also shot out. Shrouded in arrogance, the two of them crashed into each other like violent giant beasts. Zhang Heng's initial level of cultivation at the 6th level has a strength of more than 60,000 kilograms, coupled with the 3.2-fold increase in explosive power at the entry level of Zon level Broken Mountain Fist. Has the explosive power of 200,000 kilograms. Although it is only slightly better than Pu Xingyu. But Zhang Heng's physical strength is much stronger than his opponent. Boom. The blade and the fist faced each other, and the violent air waves centered on the two of them and slapped away in all directions. Zhang Heng remained motionless. Pu Xingyu's sword almost flew away and he took a step back. The two are at a standstill. Everyone in the audience was suddenly in an uproar. Zhang Heng's explosive power is actually stronger than Pu Xingyu. Physique, movement, and strength are all at the top of the physical realm. What a monster-like young man. At present, he is still young and his cultivation level is limited. Once he reaches the 10th level of physical realm, he is definitely expected to compete for the championship in the sect competition. As soon as these words came out, there was a cry of exclamation immediately. You must know that those who can become the outer disciples of Deluo sect are already top geniuses in the eyes of ordinary people. And the sect competition is where the strongest one stands out among the nearly 10,000 talented outer sect disciples on the 8th peak. In the arena, the two of them paid no attention to the comments in the audience. Zhang Heng raised his hand and looked at it. I saw a faint red mark appearing on 3 of my knuckles. Your weapon is good, but it actually made my hand feel a little pain. Come again. Zhang Heng rushed forward and punched again. Pu Xingyu's right hand holding the knife trembled slightly, his eyes full of shock. What others don't know is that the long sword in his hand is a treasure-level weapon. Blowing hair and breaking hair, cutting iron like clay are all idle. Faced with ordinary mortal weapons, even hundreds of forged weapons can be easily cut. But now, in the case of a head-on collision, there was only an invisible red mark left on Zhang Heng's hand. Is this kind of powerful and invincible body really possible in the physical realm? Pu Xingyu's thoughts were complicated, but when faced with Zhang Heng charging forward again, he could only face him with his sword. Boom. Boom. The two of them collided violently continuously. Invisible shock waves raged crazily around. The earth is shattered and the airwaves are rolling. Finally, the long knife in Pu Xingyu's hand flew away, and the door opened wide. Zhang Heng punched him again, hitting him in the chest. Pu Xingyu vomited blood and flew out upside down. Zhang Heng refused to give up and chased after him as soon as his feet moved. Grabbed Pu Xingyu's hair with his left hand to stop his retreat, and punched him again with his right hand. Bump, bump, bump. Let go and let Pu Xingyu's figure fall to the ground. In my mind, the system prompts sounded at the right time. Ding. Win the battle and get 100 potential points. The deacon jumped up and came to Pu Xingyu's side. After briefly checking his injuries, he announced. Winner, Zhang Heng. From today onwards, Zhang Heng becomes the new challenger. The cheers of the crowd suddenly burst out. At this time, it's just the champion of a duel ring. People who don't know better think who won the sect competition. A disdainful word came from outside the ring. Everyone turned their heads and immediately saw the ugly young man standing not far from Meng Lingshou. Meng Lingshou quietly moved aside and continued to move away. Zhang Heng, who was about to step down, also set his sights on it. The audience in the audience let out continuous exclamations at this time. He is Qi Peng. Qi Peng, the number 1 person in the outer sect. Why would he come to watch the duel in the ring? Given his level, he should be looked down upon. Interesting. Qi Peng, the number 1 person in the outer sect, seems to be provoking Zhang Heng. Will there be a fight? With Qi Peng's strength, Zhang Heng is no match for him now. Hearing everyone's discussion, Qi Peng held his head high and looked at Zhang Heng on the ring with a very disdainful look. Zhang Heng, I heard that you bullied Meng Lingshou yesterday. I would like to see if you, being so arrogant and rude, can block my sword. Meng Lingshou on the side clenched her fists and glared at Qi Peng fiercely. Zhang Heng's eyes were calm, with a faint smile on his face. Are you Qi Peng, the champion of last year's 8th peak sect competition? The sect competition is an event held separately by each peak as a unit. In fact, it is not considered the first person in the outer sect of the entire Deluo sect. However, when people are carrying people in sedan chairs, everyone usually directly calls the winner of the sect competition the first person in the outer sect. Zhang Heng pointed it out deliberately, just to suppress his arrogance a little. Qi Peng's expression froze. He was proud and arrogant. When he saw Zhang Heng's careless attitude, he felt an unknown anger rising in his heart, and he immediately shouted coldly. That's right, Zhang Heng, don't just bully girls. Do you have the guts to duel with me? Meng Lingshou on the side stared at Qi Peng again. Murderous. Qi Peng was shocked and turned around, only to see Meng Lingshou's frost-covered side face. He looked around again in surprise. He didn't find the source of the murderous intent, so he turned to look at Zhang Heng on the ring, waiting for the opponent's response. Good. Zhang Heng replied nonchalantly. 1 month later, there will be a sect competition, and then we will have a formal battle in front of everyone. Or, if you are not sure about entering the final battle again, then half a month later, we will still be here, and you and I will fight. You choose one. Qi Peng was startled. He originally wanted to have a duel now. But now that Zhang Heng's words have come to this point, he can't put forward any more conditions. Besides, Zhang Heng had just fought a big battle. Even if he wins, others will think that he is taking advantage of others' danger and cannot win with force. Then I'll keep you for another month and see you in the ring then. However, even if you are unable to enter the final battle by then, I will still fight you alone. No matter how clever you are, you can't escape this battle. After saying that, he turned around and left. Chapter 12. Cultivation Sword. Earth Level Golden Statue Skill. Zhang Heng got off the ring and came to the waiting area. From today onwards, you are the master of the challenge. You can arrange a time to accept the challenge. Just come here at this time every day to accept the challenge of the next challenge. Remember, come every day. Once you don't come over for a day, and there happens to be a challenge that day, the other party will directly take your place and become the new challenger. The deacon registered Zhang Heng's information, and then recorded 10 contribution points for him that day. Okay, then it will be after lunch every day. Zhang Heng nodded, and after registering, he left. On the ring, someone else has already stepped up and started a constant battle. After exchanging his contribution points for 2 qi and blood pills, Zhang Heng returned to his small courtyard and started practicing crazily. The qi and blood pills are taken continuously, and under the action of Yuanxi creation gong, they are quickly digested and converted into potential points by the system. 2 hours later, the qi and blood pill has been completely digested. Zhang Heng, who had received 20,000 potential points, immediately upgraded the most important secret technique, Silver Statue Technique, to the 3rd level. Defense has skyrocketed again. In the coming time, Zhang Heng exchanged his contribution points for 2 qi and blood pills every day, stayed in the small courtyard to cultivate, and spent half an hour at noon in the duel ring to accept challenges. With his current strength, defending the ring is just a formality. In such peaceful days, time passes quietly. 1 month later, in Zhang Heng's house, Zhang Heng, who has now reached the 10th level of cultivation, has restrained his overflowing energy, but his powerful and heavy movements still make the air violently turbulent. The sound of howling wind is endless. After a long time, Zhang Heng stood up with his fists closed and opened his personal panel to take a look. Host. Zhang Heng. Cultivation level. 10th level of physical realm, 23 100,000. Main Kung Fu. Yuanxi Creation Kung Fu, Heaven level, Introduction. Martial arts techniques. Broken Mountain Fist, Zon level perfect, Fast Wind Step, Zon level perfect. Secret method. Silver Image Skill, Zon level perfection. Potential points. 160,700. Now, his cultivation has reached the 10th level of the physical realm. All major skills have also reached Zon level perfection. The strength has undergone earth-shaking changes. The reason why he did not continue to improve his cultivation level was because he wanted to participate in the upcoming sect competition. After winning the championship, you can get generous rewards. Moreover, with such dazzling qualifications, you can also receive key training from the sect, and you may even become the sect's seed and enjoy the sect's massive resource allocation. Upgrade. Silver statue skill. Ding. 100,000 potential points have been consumed. The exercise is being deduced. Please wait. Ding. The deduction is complete. Please name the new technique. Zhang Heng said without hesitation. Golden image skill. Congratulations to the host. You have learned golden image skill, earth level, first level. Huge heat flow appeared in Zhang Heng's body out of thin air and merged with his skin. His body began to strengthen crazily again, faintly shining with golden light. Zhang Heng couldn't help but beat his chest, feeling the amazing hardness, and couldn't help but sigh. Too hard. Now I am absolutely invincible physically. The reason why Zhang Heng is so confident is by no means sitting in a well and looking at the sky. But after learning about the common sense of martial arts in the Tibetan scripture hall, I became very clear about it. The level of skills is divided into 4 levels: heaven, earth, black and yellow. But in fact, the skills in the physical realm are basically only at the yellow level. Let alone the heaven level and the earth level, there are very few even at the Zon level. This is similar to the grade classification of equipment in the game played by Zhang Heng in his previous life. Theoretically, each level of equipment has a bronze, silver, gold, or even artifact level corresponding to the current level. But in fact, the level 10 equipment in the novice village does not have artifacts in most games. At most, it is whiteboard, bronze, silver, etc. Equipment of more than 20 levels may range from bronze to gold. After reaching a certain level, the existence of artifacts will actually appear. The same is true when it comes to exercises. Heaven level skills are already of an extremely high level. The physical realm is the first realm of martial arts, and the techniques are not very complicated no matter how complex they are. Earth level and heaven level levels basically do not exist. But Zhang Heng's system is so unreasonable. As long as there are enough potential points, yellow level skills can be upgraded infinitely. This resulted in Zhang Heng's martial arts far exceeding anyone at the same level. Then, it's time for me to crush everything. Zhang Heng's mouth widened into a wanton smile. Tomorrow is the beginning of the annual sect competition. This is also the time for him to really come into everyone's sight. The next day, Zhang Heng, who was rarely practicing, walked out of the small courtyard leisurely early in the morning and walked towards the square in the middle of the outer courtyard group. Along the way, many outer disciples who were also going to the sect competition recognized Zhang Heng's identity and greeted him politely. Zhang Heng smiled and nodded in response. Since 1 month, Zhang Heng's strong dominance of the dual ring leader position has long been known to most of the outer disciples. Whether you have seen Zhang Heng's battle or not, you all know that there is a peerless genius in the outer sect who looks handsome but is as violent as a giant beast when fighting. Perfect level of boxing skills, perfect level of body skills, invincible physique, and 6th level martial arts cultivation. Much stronger than ordinary outer disciples of the 10th level of cultivation. After all, the perfect level of martial arts skills is really great for improving combat power. Countless people predict that Zhang Heng is expected to enter the top 20 in the competition. Even if there is a breakthrough in cultivation, it is not impossible to reach the top 10. Judging from Zhang Heng's age, he can be called a peerless genius. When Zhang Heng came outside the square with a radius of several kilometers is already crowded with people. Countless outer disciples in green robes chatted lively in the square. At this time, a round-faced young man carrying a package came over and said with a smile, "Brother, do you need a copy of the outer sect master's information? Only 1 contribution point is needed." Zhang Heng stopped and turned his head. "No money." The round-faced young man's smile never fades. It turns out that it was senior brother Zhang who came to me in person. This information is free of charge. It's a good relationship. He took out a thin book from the package, handed it to Zhang Heng, and said at the same time, "My name is Liang Pingwei. I am a member of Wan Hall. I am responsible for collecting intelligence from the masters in the sect. But please don't worry, senior brother Zhang. It's just a summary of some basic public information. It is mainly to increase the visibility of the major experts and provide convenience for everyone. If you meet brothers from Wanatang in the future, please ask Brother Zhang to save a portion of the noodles." Chapter 13. The championship will only be mine. Zhang Heng took the book and asked thoughtfully. Do you have information about masters at all levels? Yes, our Wanatang is a loose organization, with members from all walks of life within the sect. Whether it is the outer sect, the inner sect, or the core, they all have intelligence collections. Then thank you junior brother Liang for your kindness. Senior brother Zhang, you're welcome. You are one of the favorites predicted by our cousins to win the championship. In the future, you will be able to enter the inner sect, or even the core, and you will have more opportunities to contact us. This trivial thing is nothing. Zhang Heng glanced at Liang Pingwei in surprise and asked curiously. Favorite for the championship. Many people are optimistic about me, but few think that I am expected to win the championship. Why do you predict this? Liang Pingwei glanced at Zhang Heng with a smile. Less than a month after senior brother Zhang entered the outer sect, he defeated Meng Lingshou and Pu Xingyu, both of whom were extremely talented, and became the champion of the dual ring. The martial arts skills displayed during this period are almost unmatched by anyone in the entire outer sect. Based on our comparison of the strengths of the masters, I believe that as long as senior brother Yang's cultivation reaches the 8th level, he has a great chance of winning the championship. For ordinary people, it is basically impossible to raise 2 levels in 1 month, but for senior brother Zhang, it is still possible. I wonder if senior brother Zhang is sure. Zhang Heng smiled indifferently, his eyes full of arrogance that despised everything. The champion will only be mine. He opened the booklet in his hand and went straight to the section on the favorites according to the table of contents. Only 5 people are listed above. Qi Peng, 19 years old, is at the 10th level of the physical realm, possesses the Dacheng level meteor sword technique, the Dacheng level swift wind step, and was the champion of last year's sect competition. Bu Hanyi, 17 years old, 10th level of the physical realm, master of light chasing sword technique or above at Dacheng or above, Maizong step at Dacheng or above, ranked 29th in last year's sect competition. Ji Zhaojun, 18 years old, 9th level of the physical realm, master of Dacheng level phantom swordsmanship, Dacheng level of swift wind step, ranked 7th in the sect competition last year. Lan Gaojuo, 24 years old, is at the 10th level of the physical realm and has mastered the Luoyue sword technique at the Dacheng level. Zhang Heng, 16 years old, 6th level or above of the physical realm, perfect level rock breaking fist, perfect level wind step, suspected to be perfect level bronze statue skill. Only 2 of the favorites to win the championship are at level 10. Zhang Heng raised his eyebrows and asked in surprise. Liang Pingwei next to him looked at him with a strange look and said. Senior brother Zhang, as a genius, you may not know it well. For most people, progress is not achieved by just practicing. A warrior's physical body is so powerful that just maintaining his energy and blood requires a lot of resources. After the 3-year sect welfare period, most of the outer sect disciples are busy with various tasks, constantly earning contribution points, and practicing hard so that they can maintain their vitality and blood, or make slight progress. In addition, outer disciples who have been initiated for more than 10 years are excluded. Therefore, the favorites to win the championship are usually the new talents, rather than the older disciples who have been wasting their time in the outside world for a long time. Speaking of this, Liang Pingwei sighed. The gap between geniuses and ordinary people is so despairing. Geniuses only need to concentrate on cultivating every day. The sect provides abundant resources, and the cultivation level can be improved bravely and diligently. As for ordinary disciples, due to insufficient cultivation time, insufficient resources, and poor talent, most of their cultivation has stagnated or even regressed. Zhang Heng nodded thoughtfully. It is true that cultivation relies too much on resources. Just like himself, without a system, he might have wasted a few years as a handyman. Liang Pingwei on the side continued to say. Of course, there are still some disciples who have reached the 10th level of cultivation. It's just that fighting is not just about cultivation, martial arts realm is also a crucial factor. Even in battles of the same level, the improvement of combat power by martial arts realm is much higher than the difference between 1 or 2 small realms in cultivation level. Most geniuses either focus on improving their cultivation or studying martial arts, but they cannot do both. Only the top geniuses can do both. The favorite to win the championship is such a genius. Liang Pingwei stayed in the outer sect for 6 years. Although his cultivation level was not high, his knowledge was beyond the reach of Zhang Heng. While the two were chatting, quiet, a majestic and thick voice resounded throughout the audience. Everyone looked towards the middle of the square. I saw a figure with fluttering white clothes appearing on the high platform at some point. Everyone in the square immediately fell silent. Dear disciples, I am Su Qing, the deacon responsible for leading this sect competition. Let me first give you a brief introduction to the process of the competition. Su Qing is a handsome middle-aged man with a long sword on his back and fluttering white clothes. He has the cool temperament of an elegant swordsman. There is no sloppiness in speaking. The sect competition is divided into two parts. The first stage is the ferocious beast hunting trial. Everyone enters the designated area of the Shaluo Mountains and hunts ferocious beasts. For each ferocious beast's left ear harvested, 1 point will be earned. Within a week, the top 50 points earned will be the top 50 in the competition. Even if you don't get a ranking, everyone can redeem corresponding contribution points based on their respective points. In addition, malicious killing is not allowed. Otherwise, once discovered by the deacons on random inspections, the points will be cleared immediately, and you may even face punishment from the sect. The second link, the arena competition. The top 50 will draw lots for a duel. The winner will advance all the way, and the loser will switch opponents to play again. It is also a points system. The final ranking will be based on points, which is the final ranking of the sect competition. Is there a problem? A disciple raised his hand and asked. Master Deacon, if someone has the strength of the top 10, but is defeated by a stronger person or a combination of multiple people in the first stage, wouldn't he have no chance to show his strength? Su Qing glanced at the disciple with an indifferent expression. Talent is important, but it is not the only one. Contacts, opportunities, and scheming are all equally important. The sect competition only depends on the results. If you have unrivaled talent but are killed, do you think anyone will care about you? After a pause, Su Qing continued. Okay, since there is no problem, let's go. After saying that, he moved, landed at the entrance of the square, and walked out. The deacons and servants around the square led the outer disciples to follow. The group of people went down the mountain in a mighty manner and continued walking to the west. Chapter 14. The first round of trials begins. Deluo Mountain, where Deluo sect is located on the edge of the Xiluo Mountains. Going west, you can go all the way deep into the mountains. An hour later, a group of nearly 10,000 people finally stopped in a clearing somewhere in the mountains. Go. You are not allowed to stay nearby, nor are you allowed to exceed the range of 20 kilometers. In the last 2 days, I will come back here to summarize the results. Everybody dispersed one after another and disappeared into the mountains and forests. In the crowd, Qi Peng looked at another person pretending to be casual. The man nodded immediately and followed Zhang Heng's direction. In the mountain forest, there are giant trees and a dark environment. Even with the strong eyesight of a warrior, it is difficult to clearly distinguish objects dozens of meters apart. Zhang Heng walked slowly in the mountains and forests, admiring the scenery of the primeval forest, as if he was traveling in the mountains and rivers. Nearly 2 months after traveling to this world, Zhang Heng has been immersed in cultivation, barely relaxing for a moment. Nowadays, there is definitely a sense of leisure. Not far away, a giant snake nearly 10 meters long swam silently among the thick branches, slowly approaching the direction Zhang Heng was heading. Just when Zhang Heng moved not far in front of the giant snake. Whoops! The giant snake suddenly sprang out, its mouth opened nearly 3 meters high, as if it wanted to swallow Zhang Heng in one bite. The snake letter in the mouth swings like a trident, making a dangerous hissing sound. Zhang Heng glanced casually. With a flash of his body, he escaped the attack of the giant snake. Then he struck with a punch. Bump! The other side of the giant snake's body exploded directly, and blurry flesh and internal organs erupted into the distance. The perfect Zon level mountain breaking fist is not only powerful in destructive power, but also can be controlled as desired. If Zhang Heng was willing, one punch could even break the giant snake's entire body into pulp. It's a pity that he has no ears. The giant snake's body fell into the distance, and Zhang Heng continued to walk forward with a calm expression. Zhang Heng was not far behind him. A figure followed cautiously. Looking at Zhang Heng's slow state, he murmured inwardly. Is this guy here to relax? There's no sense of urgency at all. This is an inconspicuous-looking young man named Wang-san, who is an older generation disciple who has been in the outer sect for 7 years. The best period of cultivation has passed, and the cultivation level has almost stagnated at the 7th level of the physical realm. I don't have much expectations for the sect competition. But 2 days before departure, Qi Peng found him and asked him to follow Zhang Heng during the sect competition. And promised that all of Zhang Heng's loot would be taken away and half of it would be given to him. With Zhang Heng's strong strength, even half of his loot might be able to make him into the top 50, thereby enjoying the support of the sect's large resources, and there will be hope for further progress in his cultivation. Could it be that Zhang Heng is planning to steal other people's trophies in the last few days? Wang San thought secretly in his heart. His feet were wrapped in cotton, making no sound when he landed. The body is also coated with special repellent, so ordinary snakes, insects, rats and ants will not take the initiative to approach. Ellipsis. Somewhere in the mountains and forests. In a small, dark cave. A pair of eyes suddenly opened, their eyes full of fierceness. This is a middle-aged man with a sinister face named Su Li. There were obvious scars on his forehead and chin, like 2 ferocious centipedes entangled on his face, looking eerie. Just killing one outer disciple is the reward for hundreds of chi and blood pills, worth 10,000 taels, tisk tisk. It seems that this person's identity is not simple. Su Li smiled silently, and the scar on his face became more and more distorted. However, no matter how special your status is, you will still die in my hands. It's such an honor to be able to kill such a talented young man. Hey hey. In his mind, a portrait of a handsome and immature boy appeared. Ellipsis. By the river. The flames rise. On a simple stand, large pieces of beast meat were skewered on several wooden sticks and were being grilled. The meat is fragrant. After practicing repeatedly, Zhang Heng was gnawing leisurely with a piece of meat. It's indeed the meat of a ferocious beast, it tastes so good even without seasoning. A ferocious beast is actually a beast that condenses the power of chi and blood, which is equivalent to a warrior among humans. Not to mention its strength, the meat contains extremely rich energy, which is comparable to a panacea for martial arts practice. There are countless such ferocious beasts in the Xiluo Mountains, and the stronger ferocious beasts among them are comparable to the true Qi realm, or even the stronger Shantian realm. For trial activities such as sect competitions, the area must be cleared in advance to kill overly powerful beasts, and only the deacons of the true Qi realm can guard the outside of the area before outer sect disciples are allowed to enter. Otherwise, if the outer disciples enter the mountains by themselves, the risk of death is extremely high. Zhang Heng opened his personal panel and looked at it. Host. Zhang Heng. Cultivation level. 10th level of physical realm, 23 100,000ths. Main Kung Fu. Yuanshi Creation Kung Fu, Heaven level, Introduction. Martial arts techniques. Broken Mountain Fist, Zon level perfect, Fast Wind Step, Zon level perfect. Secret technique. Golden Image Skill, Earth level, first level. Potential points. 62,700. Yes, just half an hour of practice has increased 2,000 potential points. Although the effect of ferocious beast meat is much worse than that of chi and blood pills, compared with regular practice, the efficiency is increased by 5 times. At the end of the day, you can gain almost 20,000 potential points. I practiced quietly for 5 days first, and in the last 2 days I robbed the trophies of some experts. Isn't this considered malicious robbery? Beautiful. Just when Zhang Heng was humming and eating meat, Wang San, who was following him from a distance, swallowed, took out the dry food prepared in advance from his pocket, and took a few bites. Damn it, this kid. During the trial, he was still practicing while sharpening his weapons before battle. He even ate barbecue. But it smells so good. At this time, the sound of rustling branches and leaves could be heard from the woods on the other side. Wang San quickly stopped and stopped moving. Zhang Heng by the river also turned to look. Smell good. A beautiful figure with a long sword on his waist walked out of the mountain forest. She has a graceful figure, red lips and white teeth. She is a beautiful beauty, but she is wearing a blue martial arts uniform and looks heroic. Junior brother, senior sister, I happen to be hungry. Can you give me half of it? The girl walked not far from Zhang Heng and looked at the barbecue on the stand eagerly. Zhang Heng glanced at her. Why? The girl was startled and looked at Zhang Heng in surprise. You do not know me. So what if I know you or not? Besides, should I know you? That's right, you should be a new junior fellow apprentice, so it's normal if you don't know me. The girl smiled, her eyes curved into a pair of crescent moons. Hello, my name is Bu Hanyi. How about I trade chi blood pill with you for barbecued meat? Chapter 15. Bu Hanyi. I will ensure that you pass the test. Zhang Heng then looked at her and grinned. That's pretty much it. I'll give you half of a chi and blood pill. After Bu Hanyi handed Zhang Heng a chi and blood pill, he found a stone and sat down. Imitate Zhang Heng's example and eat meat with big mouthfuls. Not bad. Your barbecue skills are very good. In the next week, you help me grill the meat, and I will pay you a chi and blood pill every time and ensure that you pass the test. How about that? Bu Hanyi raised his head with satisfaction, not caring about the oil in his mouth, and looked at Zhang Heng and said, You, protect me. Zhang Heng was startled. How about this? Let me test your strength first. If you really have the strength to protect me, I will agree to your terms. If you are not strong enough, the transaction condition is 2 chi and blood pills. In addition, I will ensure that you pass the test. How? Hearing Zhang Heng's words, Bu Hanyi chuckled. Junior brother, it seems that you have never heard of my name, so come on. Bu Hanyi wiped his mouth, walked to the open space on the other side, and looked at Zhang Heng provocatively. Zhang Heng couldn't help but laugh, stood up and came to the opposite side of Bu Hanyi. By the way, junior brother, what's your name? My name is Zhang Heng. Zhang Heng. Sounds a bit familiar. By the way, is he that rising star? One of the favorites to win the championship? It should be me. In this case, you deserve my full strength, so be ready to take the hit. Bu Hanyi, who entered combat mode, looked serious. Zhang Heng's posture was casual, and he walked towards the other party slowly. Chang. In the void, there seemed to be a flash of silver lightning. What others don't know is, the reason Bu Hanyi is so confident is because her light-chasing swordsmanship has reached a perfect level, with 3 times the explosive power, coupled with extremely fast attack speed, and a 10th level of cultivation. Can definitely be called an extremely powerful person in the physical realm. Moreover, in addition to her sword skills, her body skills have also reached a perfect level. In terms of strength in the physical realm alone, there are only a handful of them in the entire Deluo sect's thousands of years of history. According to what her father said, as long as the true energy does not come out, she will be invincible. Almost at the moment the sword is unsheathed, Zhang Heng could barely see a glimmer of cold light coming towards his arm. He was shocked inside. What a fast pace. But when he saw the direction of the opponent's attack, he simply refused to dodge. Boom. A low muffled sound. The sword blade pierced the sleeve and touched Zhang Heng's arm. What a strong defense. Bu Hanyi's pupils suddenly shrank, and he was shocked inside. This is definitely not a bronze statue. Even if I have a perfect bronze statue skill, I can't completely ignore my perfect light-chasing swordsmanship. Besides, the sword in my hand is a treasure. How can it not even break the skin? Bu Hanyi's figure moved. With the perfect level of movement, his figure almost turned into a phantom, walked around to the other side of Zhang Heng, and stabbed out with the long sword again. Zhang Heng grinned. The Zan level's perfect swift wind step was unfolded, disappearing like a breeze, and appeared behind Bu Hanyi in the next moment. His right hand reached out and slapped Bu Hanyi on the back of the head. Like the 9 heavens divine dragon reaching out its huge claws. Swift, fierce, and powerful. Such a terrifying speed was completely beyond Bu Hanyi's expectations. She felt a chill in her heart, and she felt a breath of death completely enveloped her. He's serious. He's going to kill me. At this moment, the blood in her body was almost boiling, and there was a buzzing in her mind. Her potential fully exploded, and her body skills further accelerated. He transformed into a phantom and rushed forward, trying to escape from the dangerous situation. What a pity, it's still too late. Zhang Heng's big hand fell on the back of her neck and squeezed it easily. The palm of his hand was warm and generous, but it brought endless chills and endless shock to Bu Hanyi's heart. Such a terrifying speed. Such a terrifying physical strength. This is the true invincibility of the physical body. Zhang Heng pinched her neck, forcing her to stop, and then quickly let go. It seems you are not qualified to protect me. Zhang Heng said calmly, turned around and walked towards the fire. Bu Hanyi recovered from his shock and turned to look at Zhang Heng's back. After taking a deep breath, he said solemnly, Senior brother Zhang, I lost. According to the agreement just now, I will pay you 2 qi and blood pills, and at the same time, you must protect me until the end of the trial. Bu Hanyi handed Zhang Heng a qi and blood pill. Then he returned to the open space, swallowed one himself, and began to practice the Qi Yuan Shi creation gong. The life and death crisis just now made her mentally agitated, and her cultivation bottleneck began to loosen, and there seemed to be an opportunity for a breakthrough. Once you break through, your cultivation will be able to cross a great realm and enter the realm of true energy. Zhang Heng boy, I admit that you are invincible in the physical realm. But, faced with the gap between great realms, you will be like me just now, helpless to fight back. Bu Hanyi couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. Bu Hanyi's figure is slender and graceful, but every move is full of elegant power. Like a dragon's energy and blood covering the whole body, the arrogance keeps rising. With one punch, the air suddenly exploded, and an invisible shock wave swept away into the distance. Even though she is a woman, her boxing skills are still domineering and powerful. But gradually, the qi and blood around Bu Hanyi began to converge. Zhang Heng sat on a small stone, eating barbecue leisurely while watching Bu Hanyi's practice. Martial arts practice. The first stage, the physical stage, is to refine the physical body internally, strengthen qi and blood, and allow the body to evolve. The second realm, the true qi realm, is to refine and transform qi. Jing refers to the energy of qi and blood. Qi means true qi. After the physical state reaches its limit, the energy of qi and blood is extremely full, and it can be refined to give birth to the first ray of true qi. At this time, qi and blood are restrained. So, Zhang Heng knew very well that this meant that the opponent's cultivation level was about to break through. How strong is the true qi realm? He wants to know too. A person who has just broken through the true qi realm is obviously just right for him to verify his strength. Sure enough, it didn't take long. Bu Hanyi's overflowing energy and blood completely subsided, as if he had become an ordinary person. It can be the next moment. Another strange wave emanated from her body, even getting stronger and stronger. Bu Hanyi had no intention of stopping. He took 3 qi and blood pills again and continued to practice. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.